It's Thursday, and let's just take a moment and count our blessings. Firstly, it's Throwback Thursday. Secondly, it's also the eve of the Easter festivities in most parts of the world. And thirdly, it's nice to welcome you once again to another edition of Joy News Interactive. And we're live on the Joy News channel on Multi TV, as well as DSTV channel 421 and GoTV channel 144. I'm Jennifer Ekwamwa, and I'm ready to read your comments on all the big issues that you've been talking about throughout the day. You can send your comments and views via our social media platforms. On Facebook, it's Joy News on TV, and on Twitter, the handle is @JoyNewsOnTV. So let's start with some forays into the entrepreneurial world. Well, you know, when the news first broke, it was to boost the local economy, or at least that's what people thought. And it was also supposed to allow for more creativity in the country. And what am I talking about? The Kantanka Group officially outdoored its brand of vehicles in 2015 after a series of trials, and subsequently donated one pickup to the Ghana Police Service. And everybody expected the hype and the buzz to resonate in sales. But you know these things, they kind of take a while to pick up. But there is some good news. Some high-profile Ghanaians have started buying these vehicles, which are the locally made Kantanka vehicles. And the latest high-profile Ghanaian is one who is the current Asantehene Otumfuo Osei Tutu II. He's taken delivery of a Kantanka K4 vehicle. Big news indeed. And this is supposed to be a major step for local manufacturers. But will this also boost the sale of these vehicles? I mean, ask yourself, are you going to buy a K4? Let's take a look at some of your comments on Facebook. And there they are, the K4 pickup trucks. Wow, bold colors. You can get it in maroon, you can get it in deep orange, or you can get it in the traditional black. Very fierce looking four-wheel drives. Mashud writes, for the wear, how many average Ghanaians are able to afford an SUV? It's not about promoting made in Ghana goods, but being able to afford made in Ghana goods. Oh, okay. Kantanka is a company manufacturing cars in Ghana, and they definitely have a target market, which probably may not be the average citizens who would maybe prefer a saloon car at an affordable price. If the company is not targeting the ordinary Kofi broke man, in quotes, why would the gesture boost the sale of the Kantanka automobiles? Ahmed also writes, Ghana as a country must do everything to promote the sale of made-in-Ghana goods, especially Kantanka vehicles. It'll go a long way to help the nation. And Livingston also adds, oh yes, and even ministers and other government and private workers should patronize these locally manufactured cars. They are nice cars indeed. I agree. They look, wow, amazing. Sylvanus Delaport says, well, until government starts patronizing it, Otumfuo's endorsement won't be enough to promote these our locally made vehicles. And that's your take. Lambert says, I think it's good to patronize locally manufactured goods, but until the mentality of Ghanaians is changed, that's not enough to promote these locally manufactured Kantanka cars. Raskobi, government must order Kantanka pickups to the 10 regions across the country, districts and constituencies for Ghana Police to use as patrol cars in the nations. Alec also says it's a good step, but I think it will be marketable of the government to take the step. So you rather want government to take the first step and to probably do a mass order of the Kantanka SUVs. Nana Friye says, well, can't they make something to suit the size of the civil servant's pocket? I'm sure by reading all these comments or getting all the feedback, we'll definitely get something from the Kantanka outfit shortly for all, you know, those who don't particularly like SUVs. Walker says, that would be great, and we need to love our own. Nana Efwa says, if we can afford it, it looks really nice, very nice. Prince Nuruddin, that's a sense of patriotism, and Nana Friesbach says it'll bring significant exposure. Mensa says yes, and Musa says so fast. So those are some of your comments on whether the endorsement of the K4 SUV by Otumfuo will, boost sales of the K4 pickup truck. It's the locally manufactured pickup, made here in Ghana. So let's see how that goes. Remember, my birthday's in a couple of weeks, so if you're thinking of a present, yeah, the K4 doesn't look bad with vanity plates. Moving along, remember the brouhaha that surrounded the new 5 Ghana Cedi Note? Some people described it as evil and that it had the mark of the antichrist. Well, the Bank of Ghana has debunked speculation that the new 5 Cedi note, which has been in circulation for some time now, has that antichrist mark. And there are also reports that some have refused to accept it because they believe it's satanic. And an advisor to the central bank, Governor Catherine Ashile, told a sensitization workshop at Hohoi in the Volta region that the tactile marks wrongly referred to as the mark of the Antichrist is actually a modern security feature which is being added to banknotes worldwide to assist the visually impaired. And she also urged the media and other stakeholders to help educate the public on this misconception. Take a look.
It's just a one-off print. We are not going to print this particular note again. If 10 years down the line we decide, or 5 years or whatever, we decide to even reprint it as the 5 Cedi, it will not have the text celebrating 60 years of central bank. It will be off. You remember in 2010 we issued a 2 Cedi note, and it was to celebrate Kwame Nkrumah's 100th birthday. That 2 Cedi note with the commemorative text is no longer printed. Now that text is no more there, and that note is now become what we call a collector's item. All around the world, there are people who collect choice notes and coins to sell later.
Whatever you do here, you cannot only do it on one side of the note, but you have to do it also here. Now let's pay attention to the power, to the point that look at here. Have you seen this side? Have you seen that the continuation is there? Look at these things here. The continuation is also here. Have you seen the color here? The continuation is also here. Those are standards. That is why the blind recognition features are here and also here.
So now the hope from the central bank is that people would now understand that the marks on the notes are not the sign of the Antichrist, and the 666 is not the sign of the Antichrist, but all the tactile marks are just to help our brothers and sisters who are visually impaired. And moving along from that, on Monday, and that's the 17th of April, Joy News will commemorate President Akufo-Addo's 100 days in office with a town hall meeting with the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoudou Bawumia. And ahead of that, we're asking, what questions do you want to #ask Bawumia? But first, take a look at this promo.
During the affairs of the country for more than 3 months, how much progress has been made? Joy News brings you a special conversation on 100 Days of Change, a live town hall meeting with Vice President Dr. Mahmoudou Bawumia, focusing on economy, corruption, free SHS, transition, energy, and more. 100 Days of Change, time with the Vice, live on Joy News on Multi TV, Joy 99.7 FM, and by joyonline.com at 10 a.m. on Monday, April 17, 2017. Join the conversation with the #AskBawumia. 100 Days of Change, time with the Vice, on TV, radio, online, and mobile.
So that's it. Next week, Monday, we are asking the Vice President, after 100 days, has there been any real change? We're asking you on Facebook if you have any questions to #AskBawumia on that day. If you were given the chance, what would you ask? Someone starts He says, number one, why did they pay 1 month's salary to some of the newly recruited teachers as you were fighting the NDC for their 3 months pay policy, and even many are still not paid? Oliver continues, says, will the continuing nursing students receive the restored allowance before their completion of training by the end of August, since the Asempa budget said it would be paid in September? KK adds, when are we going to see the payment of NHIS levies pay by subscribers go online so that it can be deactivated when subscription expires and activated when payment is made? And in addition, it would prevent many people traveling either by foot or vehicle to the various district offices to queue in order to renew their NHIS cards. It will also make it possible for me and others living outside the country to renew it for our family members and friends or some of the poor in our communities that need help. So, KK, in essence, you're asking about the payments of NHIS levies. You're wondering when it's going to go online. Great. Joe Abuaji says, great. Internet, the backbone connectivity for every communication, is too expensive in Ghana. So what is the government doing to remedy this high cost? Sumani James says, you prophesy on so many things to be done in our motherland Ghana, but we didn't hear about our forces. Okay, Sumani, that's not really a question. Vincent Stoney says, what is the government doing about private nurses who have completed their national service rotation, but they are still home since 2012 or 2013? We want answers. Ben Bella says, your question is, what do you know about the death of Dr. Bawumia's aide, Kwabena Buedu? Why must he be sacrificed? Well, that is another painful subject within the NPP family, the death of Dr. Bawumia's aide, tragically in a Upper West Region hotel. Bukari says, Mr. Vice President, is your promise of new change the hashtag the Delta and Invisible Forces taking over the operations of the Ghanaian security? Ras Kobi says, okay, you're not really asking a question. Samuel is back, says, many teachers are still having salary arrears to be paid. What are you doing about that? Prince Nuruddin, another issue on, this is on the teacher trainees, rather, says, have they released the feeding arrears of teacher trainees? Abdul Ganyu says, they promised inflation rates would come down, and now check the inflation rates. James, okay. Once again, you're asking, our leaders, our Ghanaian leaders and its citizens are now having the culture of silence. No one can say the truth. Why is that the case? Michael Bunny asking, on the welfare of teachers, I want to know about the government's decision on teachers' welfare. Lambert is back, says, I will kindly ask the Vice to tell us how the future is. So many of your questions and comments coming in, and you can continue sending in your questions. Just follow the hashtag AskBawumia, and we will make sure he gets it during the town hall session on 17th April at the Law Court Complex on Monday. Isaac Ewa says, what is the government doing about graduates and other groups of nurses from accredited private health institutions? And let me just take the last question over there. Firstborn, you haven't really asked a question, so I cannot read that. But anyway, keep on sending your messages to our Facebook page, Joy News on TV, and of course you can keep on sending your questions. Follow the hashtag AskBawumia, and they'll be read during the town hall session on Monday. Now, from asking Bawumia, the Vice President, talking about the Kantanka K4, let's go on to Easter festivities. They start officially tomorrow. Or if you're a staunch Catholic, they start today with the Holy Thursday festivities. Now, for people who love traveling during this season, there are two places, both starting with K, which are the highlight or the focus of everybody's attention. The first one is in the eastern region, and that's for those who are going to Kwo. And for the second group, there are those going to the Volta region, and that will be at Keta. So we asked you this morning, which place will be the most happening, the most exciting, the most happen? Is it Kwewu or Keta? You shared with us on Facebook. Kwame Elliot Walker says, why always Kwewu? In fact, that's a very good question. Why is it always Kwewu? People are even traveling to Dubai. That's bad. There are more attractive places in Ghana, but all the events at Easter time are happening at Kwewu. Is it because of the money? Organizers should start creating new centers for recreational purposes with other tourist attraction sites. Well, Kwame, the whole issue is that at Easter time, Kwewus traditionally travel from the cities back to their hometowns, and it normally becomes a very big festival atmosphere over there, and that's why Kwewu Easter has gotten that moniker and all that attention, and the media houses such as Adom FM will be there live with all events. So it's not because other things are not happening in Ghana, but because of the Kwewu Easter. Kwame Mausi says, well, Jesus will die and resurrect here too. Okay, here being where, Kwewu or Keta? Asiedu says, well, it's obviously Kwewu. Dorcas also agrees. Prince Nuruddin says Kwewu, known for the Easter festivities. Kwao Noah says, well, Sogakwe. Lambert says, VEA Dam, Upper East Region, Bongo District. Yeah, everybody and their place. And Theophilus Peculiar saying Keta will be cool. So a lot of different and varying views over there. And you can still send in your comments on Joy News on TV. And Joy News Interactive takes a quick break. We'll be right back. And you're still watching Joy News Interactive. Thanks so much for staying with us. And you know we're live on Joy News on the multi-TV, DSTV channel 421 and GoTV channel 144. My name is Jennifer, you know, the one who has the birthday in a couple of weeks, who wants a K4. Okay, maybe you didn't need all that information, but you can still send us your comments and on every single big issue happening right now on Joy News on TV, on Facebook, and on Twitter. Now, we've talked about a whole lot of things, but it is Thursday, and as you know, it's hashtag Throwback Thursday here on Joy News Interactive. So we've put a picture up on Facebook asking you who this is, and there she is on the screen, and you've been sending us your comments. Who is this famous actress? Can you guess? Let us know. Send in your answers on Joy News on TV right now. Let me see some of the comments which are there right now. Holali writes, it's Grace Mate, the action mama. Man Ascona says Grace Note. And Anna Kwapna says, even if I close my eyes, I know who she is. Mama Grace. Kali Bill says, Mami Magani, you're laughing, I miss those days. Boateng, Grace Note. Sandra, same. Emmanuel, Grace Note. Okay, a lot of you have gotten it right so far. Let's scroll down and see which other responses we have gotten as to who is our hashtag Throwback Thursday actress. Can you remember who she is? Well, so many of you have written that it's Grace Note, but you can keep on sending in your comments on Joy News on TV. Matthew writing, Mami Kenke, Fred, Grace, Boache Danko says it's Grace Note, the veteran actress. Gali Savior, same, Grace Note. Victor says Sister Grace. Nana says Grace Note. So yes, all lovers of great Ghanaian films, you know who she is. A sterling veteran actress that so many look up to. And for football lovers, the UEFA Champions League is getting more and more exciting. And for some lovers, also a little bit heartbreaking. Some fans are expecting a second round of miracles. Either which way, after the first round of the quarterfinals, with all the crazy results, people losing in places that they did not expect to lose, now we have to ask ourselves, who is going to progress to the semis? Between Barca, between Real, between Bayern Munich, between Atletico, between Leicester, who is progressing forward? send us your comments on Facebook, and let me read a couple of them. William says, what I observed yesterday between Real and Bayern Munich was appalling. Referees are not being honest. Sincerely, I'm contemplating to stop watching UEFA. But however, you're with Bayern Munich all the way. Bukari says, I see FC Barcelona versus Bayern Munich in this year's Champions League final. Okay, let's see how many Barcelona fans we can get out of this. Theophilus says, I see Monaco in the finals again, maybe against Juve or Real. Kwame Mausi poking a bit of fun here, saying Kotoko. Prince, FC Barcelona, Denison, Barca, Eric, Real Madrid, Maestro, the Catalans for sure, Barca all the way. The Barca fans really, really believe in the miraculous, really, because after all, after what happened with Paris Saint-Germain in their last match over there where they managed to turn over that huge deficit, I can see why you think impossible is nothing for your squad. Ebenezer says Real Madrid, and Malofty also adds Real Madrid. So kind of evenly balanced between Real and Barcelona, but whichever which way, UEFA Champions League is heating up amazingly. Got so many weeks of action-packed football coming up. Now, we can't leave you without showing you our picture of the day, which we posted on Facebook, and you shared with us some of your comments on that. And it's going to be up on your screen. Okay, it's on your screen right now. And it says, this is what is difficult for most human beings. Helping each other to attain success is demonstrated here by goats. Ordinary goat is better than some people. In quotes, a word to the wise. So there is the picture of one goat supporting another goat to pick some leaves off a tree, which is very charitable, very nice of the goats. It's a very great lesson for all of us that there's nothing wrong with helping your fellow to succeed where you probably might not have. So that's it for today's edition of Joy News Interactive. Thank you so much for your time and your company. I leave you with a little surprise right now. Do stay tuned.
Local champion, nation champion, nation champion. I'm never bad at the Balakam Council. Kaji to Rakayan jealousy. Local champion, no nation champion. I'm the ruler of the local champion, nation champion, nation champion. Faranjin mo falakandi wa mai sabello la boda. Faranjin mo falakandi wa mai sabello la yimna ma da bang yila na sang lenta zuksa. Yi ana jama amin. Amanda mbala basalu.